Restoration work in funeral service is one of those things that most people never really think about. You walk into a room, see your loved one for the last time, and there's this sense of peace and familiarity. It feels like them. But how do we get to that point? How do we restore someone's appearance in a way that gives families that moment of comfort and closure? That's what we're talking about today. The art and science behind restorative modeling, the tools we use, the materials, and how it all comes together behind the scenes. Now, a lot of people assume this work is just makeup and maybe a nice suit, but the truth is it goes way beyond that. We're talking about reshaping features, filling in areas that may have been damaged, and creating lifelike texture so that the person looks natural, like themselves. One of the main materials we use for that is wax. And no, it's not just one type of wax. There's lip wax, which is super delicate and perfect for smoothing out small imperfections. Then there's soft wax, which is used for minor surface work. Medium wax is what we turn to for rebuilding features like noses or cheekbones. And firm wax, that's the heavy-duty stuff. It's what we use when we need to fill in larger wounds or areas that need more structural support. But wax isn't always ready to go right out of the box. It can be too hard or too soft depending on the environment or what we're working on. So we have to adjust it. If the wax is too hard, we can soften it with body heat, literally holding it in our hands, or by mixing it with things like massage cream or petroleum jelly. If that's not enough, we'll use tools like an electric spatula or a blow dryer to warm it up and make it more pliable. On the flip side, if the wax is too soft, we'll cool it down in a refrigerator or firm it up with talcum powder or cornstarch. It's all about getting the right consistency for what we're doing. It's kind of like working with clay. You have to feel it out and make adjustments as you go. Now, wax is our go-to material, but it's not the only thing we use. Depending on the case, we might also work with clay, silicone, or even paper mâché. Yes, paper mâché. It's actually pretty versatile when you need to build up a feature or create a foundation for other materials. And once the basic structure is in place, that's when we start focusing on the details. This is where things get really interesting. We don't just stop at filling in gaps or smoothing out surfaces. We go further to recreate skin texture, things like pores, wrinkles, and furrows. These little details make all the difference in creating a lifelike appearance. If you skip that step, it can look flat or artificial, and that's the last thing you want. But before we even get to the wax or other materials, there's a critical step that a lot of people don't know about. The tissue itself needs to be prepared. It has to be firm and dry to hold the materials we're applying. If the tissue isn't properly prepared, nothing will stick and the restoration won't hold up. So how do we do that? There are a few ways. One method is hypodermic injection, where we inject firming agents directly into the tissue. Another option is using a chemical compress to firm up the area. Once the tissue is firm, we need to make sure it stays dry. This is where tools like cauterizing agents or electric spatulas come in handy. They help remove moisture and keep the surface dry enough to work with. And once it's dry, we apply a sealer to lock everything in place. Sometimes we use commercial sealers, but other times we get creative. Things like clear nail polish, rubber cement, or even hobby glue can work as effective sealers. It just depends on what's available and what the situation calls for. Now let's talk about the tools of the trade. These are the instruments that make all of this possible. Think of them like an artist's brushes. Every tool has a specific purpose. We use scalpels for precise cutting and shaping. Spatulas help us apply and smooth out wax. Syringes are used for injecting firming agents, and electric spatulas help us adjust the wax once it's on the surface. Then there are the suture needles, scissors, and forceps. These are essential for more detailed work. And even something as simple as a brush can make a huge difference. Brushes are used to add texture, apply color, and create those natural-looking finishes that families expect. We also have a lot of supplies that you might not think about. Eye caps, for example, are small plastic inserts that help keep the eyes in a natural shape. Mouth formers do the same for the mouth, making sure the lips sit correctly. Then there's cotton, adhesives, and feature builders. These are all materials we use to create the right structure and look. We even use artificial hair and fingernails when needed to complete the appearance. And let's not forget things like bleaching agents, preservative gels, and mortuary putty. All of these supplies play a role in creating a polished, dignified result. What's really fascinating about this work is that it's a blend of art, science, and compassion. On one hand, you need the technical skills to know how to shape features, apply materials, and use the right tools. On the other hand, you need an artistic eye to make sure everything looks natural. But beyond that, it's about empathy. It's about understanding that you're not just working on a body, you're creating a memory for a family. You're giving them one final moment with their loved one, and that moment matters. Every detail matters. So when people ask, what exactly do you do? It's not an easy answer. It's not just embalming or makeup. It's restoration. It's bringing someone's appearance back to life in a way that helps their family remember them as they were. And it's a process that requires patience, creativity, and care. I hope this gave you a new perspective on what happens behind the scenes in this profession. It's not something most people think about, but it's one of the most meaningful parts of the job. Thank you for watching. And if you found this interesting, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insights into the world of funeral service.